Modeling floor penetrations and creating all the documentation associated with them is very tedious and time-consuming work, so we've decided to automate it. Right now we're just looking at a very simple example/test model in Revit, and if we look in wireframe, you'll see that we have a bunch of linked ducts and pipes that are going through the floors in this model. So we're going to use this to demonstrate what we can do with automation. But just to give a quick overview of what the process looks like when doing it manually, what we normally have to do for a larger footprint building, like what we're demonstrating here, is we'd have different scope boxes set up. Right now we have them set up for quadrant 1, 2, 3, and 4. We'd have to create views for all those different quadrants, for all the different views. So we'd start by going to create some plan views, assigning the correct view template to those. We have one set up here for sleeves. And then we have to set the correct scope box for each of these plan views, and then duplicate these for every different floor and every different scope box, name them appropriately, do all of the annotation, place them on the correct sheets, which we also need to create and name. And of course, we need to place our sleeve penetration families, which would normally be the size of the linked duct or pipe in the model, plus a couple extra inches. So if this is 1200 by 900, our sleeve would be something like 1250 by 950. We have to move that to the duct. For some reason, Revit sometimes doesn't like us snapping to the midpoint of a duct, so it ends up being a little less precise, but get it roughly where we want it. And then have to copy that to a bunch of different locations. If there's a really large number of penetrations, obviously this is going to be a very time-consuming activity. So rather than doing it that way, let's just automate it with our Auto Floor Sleeves tool. And just like that, in about 20 seconds of processing, that created all of our sleeves, all of our views, all of our dimensions, and also created all the sheets and placed those views on the appropriate sheets. Let's take a quick look at it. If we just go to this quadrant, you'll see that we have sleeves in place for these pipes, and they're dimensioned correctly, and there's also a label for the diameter of the sleeve. If we go to a different view that has some rectangular ducts in it, you'll see that the dimension string is going to the edge of those rectangular penetrations, whereas it goes to the center point of the circular ones with the note saying what the diameter is. There's a little bit of cleanup to do for some of the dimensions. We're still improving our dimensioning system to make it as close to perfect as possible, but even if you need to drag a few dimensions to their correct locations and delete a couple if there's a duplicate somewhere, it's an enormous amount less work than it would be otherwise. And like I mentioned, these are all also placed on sheets in an appropriate location. This also created some overall plans for each level that don't have any annotation, and these can be used as a CAD export that surveyors can use on site.